which is Daf Ches Amid Aleph on the bottom. It's 2 dots. It's about 5 lines up. See it? 28A at the end. Good morning. I'm Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Yeah. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi says, Kolam espalo tefillah shel musaf and lacher shabashayis to Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda holds that musaf can only be said until the 7th hour of the day. We said advad b'chlal, that it's including the 7th hour. But if someone davens musaf after that, Alavakas Vaimer, regarding him, the pasuk says, Nugi Mimayet, broken from the times of Safti, I've destroyed Mimcha Hayu, from you. A negative pasuk because he didn't keep the time. My mashma the Nugi listener Tabru. How do you know that the word Nugi, that first word of the pasuk, means broken? Kedematagim Rabbi Yosef, Kavra Asi al Sinim de Beis Yisrael. This is the way Rabbi Yosef translates the Targum. There is an association with Rabbi Yosef and the Targum because Rabbi Yosef was blind, and I think he wasn't allowed to recite the Torah by heart. So he would recite the Targum. So Rabbi Yosef says that the Targum, Rabbi Yosef translates it. Brokenness will come on the enemies of the Jewish people. That's the way the Gemara talks about the Jewish people, about something negative. It doesn't want to say on the Jewish people. It says on the enemies of the Jewish people, al the ichuz mani mayadai b'Yerushalayim, because they delayed the Karban Musaf, the times in Jerusalem. So you see, delaying the times is a bad thing. Okay, and it means, it will be here we're saying that it means broken. Are you looking for where Rabbi Yosef is? Mm-hmm. Rabbi Yosef is next to Rabbah and Rabbi Yosef on the Babylonian Amiraim. It's very common. Next is, we were only talking about someone that delays the Musaf prayer. What about if it delays the Shachris prayer? That's the next thing. Amar Rabbi Lazar. Rabbi Lazar says, anyone that davens Shachris after 4 hours, according to Rabbi Yehuda, that's the time limit. So Allah because of Aimer, according on him it says, Nugi mimayed asafti mimcha, afflicted. Over here we switch the translation, as I'll see in a moment. From because of the times I've destroyed, it's because of you. Now, my mashma the Nugi listen to Tsaru. How do you know that Nugi means Tzara? Because it says the soul melts from pain. That the girls are afflicted and it's bitter for her. Okay. We just switched a translation of the word Nugi depending on if the person is missing Musaf or if he's missing Shachris. If he's delaying Musaf or he's delaying Shachris. And the explanation for that shift is that Shachris you can make up. So if you're missing, you can still make it up. Musaf, there's no tashlumin for Musaf if you miss Musaf. That's why it's more strict. We translate Nugi as broken for delaying Musaf.
Musaf we have out until what time?
Well, according to this opinion, you only have until the 7th hour. We hold you have all day.
Okay. We have to.
Rabbi Chalash, here we have Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi was weak, and he didn't come to the lecture of Rabbi Yosef. Apparently, the lectures were given on Shabbos before Musaf, similar to the drushes that we have by the rabbi in the shul today. Only difference is that they would leave the shul and go to the base medrash, and then they would come back to the shul. I'm not sure exactly why it was set up like that. Okay, so L'machar Kiyasa, when he came the following day, Boya Baya Lanuchi Daiti de Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef wants Baya wants Rabbi Yosef to feel good, that not to be upset that or insulted that Rabbi didn't come. So he tells to Rabbi, I guess, in Rabbi Yosef's presence, my time why didn't you come yesterday? Hoping that he's going to say that he wasn't feeling well, but not he wasn't going to say, well, I don't like the lecture. Hopefully he won't say that. So Amalei, he says, the Habichalis Libai B'lei Matzina, I wasn't able to have this week and wasn't able to come. Amalei, I might like to Imas Midi Vasas, why didn't you eat something? Eat something and come. Amalei, Savala Mar, Lahada Huna, on the first white line. Ravuna says, person's not allowed to taste anything before he davens Musaf. We know this about Shachris. But this is the end of the Kiddush Club.
So this is a Yom Tov or a Shabbos?
It's on a Shabbos, I assume. Maybe it's the Yom Tov. I don't know. They have to have the Musaf. So, so what? You could have davened Musaf quickly on your own and eaten something and then come to the shir. You're not allowed to go ahead of the service. You could be behind, but you're not supposed to go ahead of the service. So I didn't want to do that. Rababa taught on that's only if you're in together with the congregation, you shouldn't go ahead. But if you're on your own, if you're at home or whatever, so then you are allowed to pray ahead of the service. Okay. Yeah. In the synagogue itself, you're not supposed to go ahead. So, Allah is not like Rav Huna and not like Rabbi Shua ben Levi. Now, Rav Huna had Aman, like Rav Huna, what we said about taking eating before Musa. The Kiddush clubs are back in. Rabbi Shua ben Levi. We don't pass like Rabbi Shua ben Levi regarding eating before mincha. If someone starts a meal before mincha, he doesn't have to stop because it's time for mincha, because he still has a lot of time to daven. He has the whole afternoon to daven. Just because it's the time we see in the morning, we're not supposed to eat before shachris. Even though, well, I have until 4 hours. We don't say that. We say, no, you don't have a meal before shachris. By mincha, you can have a meal, and because there's more time in the day. A big meal, isn't it? Sorry. Okay, Reb Nachani ben Akana he mispelled the knisas of the Beis Hamedrash shebitzias tefila katzara. Reb Nachani ben Akana. He would daven when he entered into the Beis Hamedrash and when he left the Beis Hamedrash. Tefila katzara, a small prayer in the Mishnah. That prayer is in some Gemaras, they printed it over here. Gemara, I don't know which Gemaras they have it. Some Gemaras they printed it in the front. Yeah, you have it over there. No, on Mamash on the cover. Yeah, right on the right. Yeah, this prayer. This would be the prayer of the Chuni Ben Akana that we're going to read right now. And made it to the cover. Yeah, he made it to the cover. Yeah. We said that. We're supposed to say it every morning. I don't know why we don't. But we don't. Yeah, it seems that we. I don't want to say. Some commentaries say that even someone that's Terasim Nasi that doesn't stop the study for prayer, but he still has to say this prayer. I don't know if that would explain why we don't say it, because we pray anyway. We say the full prayer. This would be someone that never prays.
So it's Makasha.
It is a makasha.
So Makasha is what we say. I think that should say Bakasha. It's the one. It's a way of connecting to Kadosh Baruch Hu that if you don't have that time or you're not chayav, allows you to be yotze.
It would be interesting if this would be the only prayer that women would say, because this is a prayer for Torah study.
Not for this one, but there's
Not for this one,
there's
yeah.
a Yiratzon that's after Brachos Daf that
Right.
women say.
They said women are supposed to pray two of the prayers, Shachris and Mincha, and Shachris and Ma'ariv, and two of the prayers, any two that they want. That's what they're supposed to pray. I think they asked one of the rabbis that wrote this. They asked, "Does your wife say two prayers?" He says no. Okay. So Amaloi Mama Kamutzilasu said, what's the nature of this prayer? Amalahem, he said, this is Rav Nachman ben Akana response to when I enter, I ask that no mishaps should become because of my roommate. Translate the color. Mishaps. Okay, no stumbling. And when I leave, I give thanks for my portion. Taner Rabbanan. You have a simple solution. You could just say that the share is not a halacha share, and then what are you worried about? Okay, Taner Rabbanan. When he enters, what does he say? Then we're going to have the language. Should be the will of Hashem that no bad thing should happen through me. I shouldn't stumble in a matter of halacha. And my friends will rejoice over me. That's a question if that goes together, that they may be happy over my mistake, or if that's a separate thing. That could be two separate. I shouldn't make a mistake. My friends shouldn't rejoice over me, saying that not in the same. That's not because of my mistake. Yeah, I don't know.
Shallow friend. Shallow friend. It was ruthless back then.
My fellows, I should translate. The Gemara has an expression: if one ox goes on top of its friend to kill it, so the expression "shorsha olam gabe chaverei," it goes on top of its friend. So that when the kids learn this Gemara, they say oxen have friends, but anyway, it means it's fellow ox. I shouldn't say al tami tar al tar tami. It's something that's pure, something that's impure, that is pure. Something that's pure, that is impure. My friends shouldn't stumble in a halacha. And I rejoice in them. That I can understand. That's a real prayer. What does he say when he exits? I think I give thanks before you. Hashem Elokai, Hashem my God, that you put my portion from those that settle in the Beis Medrash, that sit in the Beis Medrash. You didn't put me from those that sit on the corners, which sounds like on the streets. So ani mashkim v'hem because I wake up and they wake up. Ani mashkim divrei I wake up for Torah v'hem mashkim l'dvarim b'telim. They wake up for idleness. Ani amal v'hem amelim. I toil and they toil. Ani amal l'mekabel schar. I toil and receive reward. V'hem amelim v'hem mekabel schar. They toil and they don't receive reward unless they finish the job. Ani ratz v'hem ratzim. I run and they run. Ani ratz l'chayilim abba v'hem ratz l'vershachas. I'm running to the world to come and they're running to Gehenna.
So we say when we finish in the second.
Yeah. The Ben Yayada has an interesting point. He says Yoshvei Kronos, those that sit on the corners. So he says that the word medrash has two ends, has its four letters, mem, daled, resh, shin. So Yoshvei beis medrash. I sit in the middle of the beis medrash. They sit on the corners. The corners of medrash is mush, is to move. That means they want to get out of the show. They want to get out of the Beis Medrash. But I am dar. I dwell there. I dwell there. I want to stay.
You want to sell on Amazon?
Yeah. Those are the options.
Real estate or Amazon?
Taner Rabbanan, starting the Brisa. Shechal Rabbi Eliezer, when Rabbi Eliezer was sick, and his students came in to visit him. Now, a little unsettling, this statement here, because Rabbi Eliezer was put in Cherem. So there's another gears on the side that says Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah. That would respond. That would answer that. Another pshat could be Shechal Rabbi Eliezer doesn't mean that he was sick to die.
There's another place where it says Shechal Eliezer, the Kiva came and
And what is the,
I'm saying this could be
So it could be also that maybe it wasn't when he was dying. It could be just when he was sick.
yeah.
Amalei Rabbeinu
Before the
could be before the Cherem. The other option is, which I didn't mention, is could be that they took the Cherem off. They didn't mention it in the Gemara.
that would be sweet.
Right. So Amalei, they said to him, Rabbeinu, Lamdeinu Archas Chaim, teach us the way of life. And this give us advice to merit to the world to come. Amalahem, he said to them, be very careful with the honor of your friends. And have your children refrain from higayon. Higayon means learning too much Tanakh, because they'll get drawn into learning Tanakh and they won't study the Torah Shabbal Peh. I guess it was very attractive, the Tanakh. It's like, comparative to like a novel. They're just going to start reading Tanakh. Or another pshat is higayon is just from idle chatter. That's what Rashi says. They don't make sure they don't waste their youth with youthfulness. The Hishivam bein Birkei Talmid Chachamim. You see, if it means that they study too much Tanakh, we're talking about
What's the literal meaning of the word?
Logic.
Yeah.
Higayon.
Logic.
Don't get too involved in logic. In Torah, it's not. At the end of the day, you got to just follow it like a soldier.
That's Tanakh. Study of logic.
Yeah. Isn't that strange that should be the translation?
Tanakh, Higayon, I'd call it history.
I don't know. Well,
I'm not
I
questioning
think that
you.
at
I'm
one
questioning
point, you got to let go of your mind and just follow. Because if you're just going to stick to Torah and think that this is wisdom, I'm going to get it with my mind, the mind, the pupil. At the end of the day, you got to at one point just let it go.
I agree.
Wow.
If we only believe the things that we can reason or we can think of, if we can wrap our heads around, then we're not. We're missing. Yeah, we're limited. We're missing something.
So the Yeshivim Beibirkei Talmid Chachamim is having them sit by the knees of Talmid Chachamim. That would mean that they're not able to study on their own. And the only thing they could do would be probably study Tanakh. Nevertheless, you should have them sit and listen to what the scholars are saying. At least they'll be able to pick that up. And when you daven, you should know in front of who you stand. Because of this, you'll merit the world to come. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was sick. The students came in to visit him. When he sees him, he starts to cry. The students say, the light of Israel, the right pillar, the mighty hammer. Why are you crying? If they were bringing me in front of a king of flesh and blood, a human. Today he's here and tomorrow he's in the grave. If he gets angry at me, it's not an everlasting anger. If he imprisons me, it's not an imprisonment forever. If he kills me, it's not a permanent death. I could appease him with words, and I could bribe him with money. I would just nevertheless cry. Now that they're bringing me in front of Hashem, King of all kings, the Holy One, blessed be He, that lives forever. That if it gets angry, it's an everlasting anger. If he imprisons me, it's everlasting. If he kills me, the death is everlasting. And I can't appease him, and I can't give him a bribe. I even have two paths. One is Gan Eden, one is Gehenim. I say, I don't know which path they're taking me. Cry. Okay. The commentaries here say that the tzaddik isn't supposed to cry when he is dying. He is going to the next world. The Brachos Daf is unique because he made believe he was dead once when they brought him out to see Vespasian. So now he's recognizing the difference that he had that time. This king of flesh and blood, and this and that. That's his comparison there. So Amalei Rabbeinu Barcheinu. They said, our teacher, bless us. Amalem, he says, Yiratzon should be the will of Hashem. Stay Meir Shemayim Alechem K'Meir Vasav Adam. That the fear of heaven on you should be like the fear of a human.
Yeah.
It's a little surprising down here.
Because you can touch and feel.
Right, but it's a little surprising that after such a speech about how humans are not as significant as Hashem, he then goes and it's like, Amalei Talmidav Ad Kan, as students say, that's all. Amalehem Ulavai, that's a lot. That's if only that. If someone does a sin, he says no one's watching. So you see that's a big deal. Where does Alter ever quote this? Maybe it's Memala. When he's passing away, he says, move the vessels because of the impurity. In other words, they should become tummy. And prepare a chair for Chizkiyahu, the king of Judah that's coming. Ben Yehuda writes that Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai is a Gilgal of Chizkiyahu. He even has a gematria that Yechanan and Chizkiyahu somehow in Makayla, this and that. And which is also a Gilgal of Shmuel, he says.
Also, where would you really say outcome?
Oh, Adkan, yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Also in the time.
What do you think? Over there was by Shema, and he stopped by the Shema. He said, Adkan, you have to say Shema. Yeah? He said, Masa, right? He said, Masa, I wanted to.
They were passing away. They were in the circus of Barza.
Right. And he said, Adkan, even over here, you have to say, here also he says, Adkan. Okay. Mishnah says, Ram Gamliel says, B'chol Yom. Every day. B'chol Yom, every day, Mispala Adam Shemoneh Esrei. A person says the full Shemoneh Esrei. That's Rabbi Gamliel's opinion. Rabbi Shoimer Man Yudches. Shua says you only have to say a quasi Shemoneh Esrei, something smaller. Rabbi Akiva says it depends. Im Shagur Tfilas B'Fiv, if he's fluent. Mispal Yudches, V'mlav Man Yudches. If he's fluent, I guess it means he woke up and it's coming out nicely, his words. Or maybe it means that he doesn't know it well. I don't know.
He understands Hebrew.
Maybe. I don't know. So how does he translate it? If he's accustomed to the text, he recites it and can recite it without stumbling. I don't know if that means because he's learned it many times, or it means that just today is different. Because the Rambam has this thing about sometimes it's shigur b'fiv, if it's davening, it just comes out. Some days, like the words just don't come out. So a bad prayer day.
I could understand Hebrew because that's why they wrote the Kaddish also. because people didn't understand the Hebrew of
Oh.
Shemona Esrei.
Uh-huh. Oh, so you want to say that it means his fluency in the language. Okay. If not, so he says a shortened one. Rabbi Eliezer Reimer, if he makes his davening set, then it's not supplication. Rabbi Yeshua Reimer, the Gemara is going to explain all of these. Someone's going through a dangerous area. Spald Fil Ketzari should say a short prayer, but and he says, Hashem should save your nation, She'eres Yisrael, the remnant of Israel, the whole Brachos Daf. At all Brachos Daf, we'll explain what that means in the Gemara. And the whole Brachos, or you say it like this, the whole Brachos Daf, Yotzachem Lefanecha. At all of their, there's two Gershai say, the other Gershai says, V'yiyu, and if you see that. You follow, there's two ways of reading this, with where you put the comma. In all Brachos Daf, the need should be before you. Baruch Atah Hashem Shemei Tefillah. That's what's called Tefillah Ketzara, a short prayer. If someone's on a donkey, he's riding on a donkey, Yerid B'Yispal, he should go down to daven. B'Meniach Alered, he can't go down. Yasser Espanav, he should turn his face towards the base of Mikdash. B'Meniach Alatzer Espanav, if he can't turn, Yechavan asleep, K'neged Beis Kach HaKadosh, at least he should turn his heart. He should, in his heart, he should be facing Kodesh HaKadosh. Malach Besfina, if he's on a boat, Ba'asta. This is probably a raft. There's two opinions in Rashi. Yechavan asleep, K'neged Beis Kach HaKadosh. He should turn towards his heart. Should turn towards the Kodesh HaKadosh. I guess he doesn't know which way. Okay, let's go through. The Gemara is going to explain a lot of things over here regarding the Mishnah. It starts off with Hani Yudches K'neged Mi. When we say Shemona Esrei, what are this 18 blessings corresponding to? Amar of Hill, Breder of Shmuel bar Nachmani. Rav Hill says the name of Shmuel bar Nachmani. K'neged Yudches Askar Shem David B'Havel Hashem B'nei Yelam. And what Psalm is that? 29? Psalm 29, I think. In Psalm 29, we say it Friday night. Bismillah David Havel Hashem B'nei Yelam. Sing it. Some sing it. So it says over there 18 times Hashem's name. So those 18 times are corresponding to the 18 brachas. We're looking for a symbolism for the 18. You could say, well, we have 18 things to ask about. That would be my answer. I have 18 things. But I guess you can combine different things. And so what's the symbolism specifically for 18? We have Hashem's name 18 times in that prayer. Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yosef says there's 18 times Hashem's name in Shema. This is including Hashem and Elikim, besides for when it says other gods, not including that one. Amar Rab Tanchum, what's this Aleph? Rab Tanchum, Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, Amar, K'neged Shemona Esrei Chuli Shebeshedra. It's corresponding to the 18 vertebrae in the spine. Okay. Yeah, this mimer from the Mittler Rebbe.
Granny is raising his hand.
Oh. And I have to take this out. Dr. Stein, you have a question? Okay. I don't know how to do that. Let me put this back in. Well, if this is in, this doesn't have a what's it called? Speaker. Let me have some light. Okay.
33 vertebrae.
Oh, there are 33? No, that's the problem.
So high.
So what do we do with that? What is it?
18 main ones.
Yeah, there's different sections of the spine. Right? So it doesn't necessarily mean.
We're going to see later that there's another one, a small one. Okay. I'm going to, where are we holding? Amar Rav Tanchum, Amar Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Rav Tanchum says in the name of Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, I'm a spalo. Someone that's davening When he bows, all of the vertebrae in the spine should open. It means he bows in a way that it bends and it opens. Be able to see, it should be as if he can the folds on his stomach when he bows down. So it should be two folds that the size in between them should be the size of the coin. I guess that's less. So B'chinam says he doesn't have to bow like that. He just has to like nod with the head. And that's enough. But that's only Rabba says it's only if it's hard for him to bow and he wants to bow more and he makes it recognizable that he's trying to bow more, so then that would be enough. Hani Tamnisrei Tishrei Havyan. It's not 18. It's 19. Reb Levi says Brachos Hatzidukim v'Yavdet Tiknu. There's one extra bracha that was instituted later. Neged mi tiknua, who regarded what does that correspond to? Because we needed symbolism for each of these things. Reb Levi, Reb Hillel, Breder of Shmuel bar Nachmani, according to Reb Hillel, Breder of Shmuel bar Nachmani, was that the first opinion? Yeah. Neged Kelach Avedirim, the God of honor, thunders. That's one of the verses in Havel Hashem Ne'elim. So it says the name Kel. Kel is another name of Hashem. And we were counting just the Yud Kei Vav Kei. Now we're adding in the name Kel as well. The Rabbi Yosef Keneged Echad Shebekriya Shema. Rabbi Yosef said it's corresponding to the 18 names of Hashem and Shema. Now we have one more. Echad is another one. That would be the one corresponding to the Brachos Aminim, to the V'lam Alshinim, the prayer against the heretics. It's interesting that we say that because it's assuming it's the early Christians, and we're saying Echad is the one that corresponds to it. It's interesting. The Reb Tanchum, Rabbi Shua ben Levi, Kneged Chulya Knana Shebeshed, it's corresponding to the small vertebrae in the spine. This is one more that's small that could be counted or not counted. Tanarabanan, start in a brisa. Shimon Apikuli histi yudches brachos Ram Gamliel ala seder biyavne. Shimon Apikuli, he arranged the 18 brachos in front of Ram Gamliel in order in Yavne. Yavne is the place where the Sanhedrin went. Amalehem Ram Gamliel achachamim. Gamliel says to the sages, is there anyone here that can institute the prayer for the Sadducees? Against them? Now, that's what we called before the Brachos Aminim, right? The Brachos Hatzidukim. I said it before.
Is this like a prayer of protection or it's like a curse?
No, it's a curse for them. Against them. Ahmad Shmuel HaKatan got up to Tikna, and he instituted it. Shana Cheres, the following year, Shakcha, he forgot it. The Ishkif Shtein V'Shalosh Shoyos, and he was waiting, trying to remember it for 2 to 3 hours. This is very frustrating. But they didn't remove him from Halua. They didn't raise him up because the Chazan is Yerid Lefnei HaTeva. He goes down to the prayer. So the way they say that they take him away from being a Chazan is Halua. They bring him back up to the congregation, away from the Yamud. So the commentaries say, what's the pshat that he forgot it? You say it 3 times a day, 365 days. So you say it 1,000 times, and he forgot it, and it takes him 2 to 3 hours to remember. So what's going on? Of course, they didn't daven from a siddur. That's obvious. But
so he was in the 80 years of mine.
So Shmuel HaKatan, he's called Shmuel the youngster. They say that he never davened. He was Terosim Nosek. He never had to daven. He davened very seldom. He never had to interrupt his learning. The only prayer that he would say would be Reb Nachman ben Akana's prayer before learning, but he never said the Shemona. A year later, he's going to say it. So, this goes to show you that see, the rabbi has to know the prayers. Even though what the rabbi is learning is not the prayers, but in some shuls, like the job of the rabbi is to announce if it's Kaddish Derabanan or Kaddish Yasam. That's the limit for the. Okay. V'amar Rabbi Yehuda Amarav. Rabbi Yehuda says name of Rav Ta b'chol habrachos kulan ein malin. I say we have a problem. Oh, I skipped the 3 words. Why didn't they remove him? Rabbi Yehuda says in the name of Rav that if someone makes a mistake in any of the blessings, you don't remove him. But if he doesn't say, if he makes a mistake in the prayer of the tzedukim, you remove him from the Yamad because maybe he's a heretic. He doesn't want to say that part. When it says Shani Shmuel HaKatan, do you take no? No, Shmuel HaKatan instituted it. He can't be the heretic. The B'nai still Mahadabay. Maybe they convinced him and he changed his mind. Now he's a heretic after he said that prayer. He instituted it and then he went back. He Amar Abaya Gemiri Tavalay Avibisha. We've accepted that someone that's good doesn't go sour. The Valai, he doesn't go. It's impossible. It says in a pasuk that the tzaddik will return from his righteousness and he'll do sin. That's talking about that originally he was wicked. Then he became a tzaddik. Then he'll go back. But someone that's righteous from the beginning won't go back, won't go sour. But it was taught in a Mishnah. Don't trust in yourself until the day of death. Because Yochanan, the high priest, 80 years he was a Kohen Gadol. At the end he became a heretic. Amar Abaya, who Yanai, who Yochanan. Abaya says, well, he started off as Yanai. It's also Yochanan, it's Yanai. Yanai and Yochanan, these are 2 Hashmonai kings that Yanai, I think, was the husband of Shlomis. Yanai was, I think, a brother-in-law of Shimon ben Shattach, right? And he killed all the sages. I think Nitei Bailey had to run away to Egypt, and Shimon ben Shattach was allowed to stay. He was a bad guy. And Yochanan is the high priest. So if Yanai is Yochanan, so then it's we got the bad guy that became a high priest that went back to being a bad guy. So that we can understand. This is there's a high priest by the name of Yochanan, and we're saying that Yanai, the king Yanai, was also Yochanan. It's the same person. In English, we would just translate it as John and and then it's the same. In translation, you could sort of mix it up. Yanai, I don't know.
He was related.
Yanai was the brother-in-law of Shimon ben Shattach. Shimon ben Shattach's sister, Shlemtzion Malka, right? Something like that. She was the wife of Yanai, and she protected her brother, Shimon ben Shattach.
Is the one Shimon ben Shattach is the one who brought the Torah.
Yeah, actually. Right? Shimon ben Shattach, the Ksuba. He instituted the Ksuba. Yeah, very good. Yeah, trophy.
Jimmy. Her husband relapsed. He was the heretic originally. I mean, he was there originally.
Then he became, right, according to Abaya, and then he went back. Now, when it says Yochanan Kohen Gadol was a Kohen Gadol for 80 years, so there's a problem with that historically because there were many Kohanim Gedolim in the second Beis Hamikdash, 300 and something Kohanim. The whole Beis Hamikdash was only 420 years. If he takes up 80 years of it, then the ones that are left are going to be less than a year, which is possible. But Rabbi Steinsaltz says that it's Yochanan Kohen Gadol was really a family of Kohanim, not an individual. I don't know if that's going to fit with this Gemara though. Okay. Now Rava says Yanai l'chud v'Yochanan. Rava says that Yanai is not Yochanan. And here's the problem. Yanei Rashi Mikarav, Yechanan Tzadik Mikar, Yechanan Kan Gadol was a Tzadik. So Hani Chalabaya, we can understand according to Abaya that he was bad and then he became good, so that's why he goes back to being bad. El Rava Kasha, according to Rava, there's a question over here. What are we asking? Our whole question is based on why is Shmuel HaKatan allowed to stay at the Amud? They should have removed him. We're saying that no, he didn't become a heretic. Well, maybe he did. Amalach Rava says, Tzadik Mikar Nami Dil Mahadabe. It is possible that a tzaddik becomes sour in the end. So why didn't they remove Shmuel HaKatan when he couldn't remember the prayer of V'lam Sinim? Shani Shmuel HaKatan da Aschalba. He had started the prayer, he just couldn't complete it. When do you remove him if he doesn't even say it at all? He doesn't start it. But if he starts it, then we let him stay and he'll complete it. Commentaries discuss that let's say he skipped Mechayim Mason, that would make him into a heretic also. He revives the dead. Why don't they remove him for those things? Why all the brachos? They say that, over there, for whatever reason he forgot it. It doesn't. But here we assume that he doesn't want to say Mechayim Mason is different than Olam Hashinim. Over there it's just an announcement. That would be an announcement of your faith. But over here it's a prayer against himself. He would never say, God, destroy all of my people. That he wouldn't say. That's the real issue. And so therefore we're afraid that he's a heretic if he doesn't say this prayer. But if he starts it, then it's okay. Okay. Hani Sheva the Shabbat Keneged. We started discussing what do the 18 blessings correspond to? What are about the 7 that we say on Shabbos? What do they correspond to? 3 at the beginning, 3 at the end, and 1 in the middle. There's 7. Amar Chalafta ben Shaul Keneged Shiva Kol Hashem David Alamayim. Isn't that interesting? He uses the same prayer, Havel Hashem Bnei Elam, but he looks for the kolos, Kol Hashem Alamayim, that we say in that prayer. Hani Teisha Rosh Hashanah Keneged Me. What about the 9 of Rosh Hashanah? We say 9 blessings on Rosh Hashanah in the Shemon Esrei, because we add in an extra 3 for Shofars and Malchus and Zechenes. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak min Kartiganin. I didn't look in the Steinsaltz if he has any comment on this name. Rabbi Yitzchak of Kartiganin. Over here on the side it says Rabbi Abba min Kartagani. Okay. It's corresponding to the 9 mentions of Hashem's name that Chana does when Chana is praying. The Mamar was taught, the master taught, Rosh Hashanah Nifkada Sarah Rachel V'Chana. In Rosh Hashanah, Sarah, Rachel, and Chana are remembered. Someone in the yeshiva was saying over from Reb Levi, Rebbe's father, that each one of these names has 2 letters from the other name. Like Sarah has a resh and a hey, which that Chana has. And Rachel has a Chana and a resh from Sarah. And then Chana has a ches from Rachel and a hey from Sarah. And then somehow the letters that were left over was spelled something interesting gematria there. Okay. Hani Esrim v'arba Tanisa Keneged Me. On the Tainus we say an extra 8. So it comes out to 24. What does that correspond to? Amr Rab Chelbei says Keneged Chafdal Rinana Sham Shloim B'Shash Yich Nisar LeBeis Kat Shechada. If you look in Malachim Aleph, chapter 8, so when Shlomo HaMelech finishes the construction, so he makes this whole assembly and he says this long prayer. He's on his knees and his hands are stretched up towards the heavens. So in that prayer, it's the longest prayer that we have in Tanakh. The shortest prayer in Tanakh is Moshe Rabbeinu for Miriam, Kelna Rafanallah. The longest prayer is this, chapter 8 in Malachim. So over there it says 24 times different sort of names for tefillah. One is Rina, Tfila, Tchina. It's what basically Shlomo Melech is saying, that anyone that davens in this house or facing this house, or his heart is facing this house, should be answered. That means that like the base of Mikdash should be attractive. So why don't we say it 24 blessings in the Shemoneh Esrei? When it says when did Shlomo say it? It was the day that he needed compassion, because the doors of the base of Mikdash weren't opening. You couldn't get the Aron in. It was too wide or whatever. The Aron was too wide. Couldn't get it in.
When he said that one of the first makom, how could it be too wide? Elo midah velo makom.
What does that mean? The door. It says the doors were stuck. Couldn't get them in.
The gate.
The gates. So. No, the Brachos was on the second base of Mikdash.
He's talking about Kodesh HaKodashim, no?
He wants to get it into the Kodesh HaKodashim, but the gates of the base of Mikdash are closed. Very good. Right.
He mentioned his father, no?
Yeah, that's what he says. He mentioned his father, and then it opened. So, we only say it on days that we need compassion, which is the fast days. Okay. Rabbi Yeshua, those are the fast days for rain. When they would daven in the street, they would go out. They would have an extra prayers. Rabbi Yeshua, I mentioned Shemoneh Esrei. In the Mishnah, we mentioned that Rabbi Gamliel says that every day you say Shemoneh Esrei. Rabbi Yeshua says you only say a quasi Shemoneh Esrei. My men Shemoneh Esrei. What is the small Shemoneh Esrei? Rabbah, our man called Bracha. Rav says that each blessing you say, but you shorten it. You just say the end of it, maybe with like one word or something. Shmuel says the following prayer. This is the Me'en Shemoneh Esrei. Havinenu Hashem Elokeinu l'daster kecha. Hashem should give us the understanding to know your ways. That's corresponding to Atochainen. Umalos levaveinu liyirasecha. And circumcise our heart to fear you. That's Hashivenu. Tislach lanu liyes geulim. And give us forgiveness. That's Slach lanu. Liyes geulim is Reina v'Anyenu. Rachshenu v'Achadenu. And distance us from our suffering. That's Rafeinu. This is, and pasture us in your lush land. And gather us from the four corners. That's the Kabbalah Shofar. Give us the counsel. Those that what is it? Al Daitcha. They say that there's a problem. Judge those that are making mistakes. On the side, I have it doesn't make sense that was words. And on the wicked, you should raise your hand over the wicked, to get them. Now, this is corresponding to B'lam Malshinim. The problem is that Rabbi Yeshua never mentioned B'lam Malshinim. In Rabbi Yeshua's days. Maybe that's when they instituted it. Okay. V'yismachu tzadikim b'binyan yirecha. That's corresponding to the Shalayim Yercha. The righteous should rejoice at the building of your city. Tikknei chalecha v'tzmichas k'el l'davar avdecha. Brichas nel v'nisham mishichecha. That's a long semach. That's the longest part. Terem nikra atasana. Before we call, you already answer. Baruch atah Hashem shemei tefillah. So what we did here is we gave about 2 words per blessing. And that's we condensed the middle 11 blessings of Shemoneh Esrei. Layat Allah Abaya Mandamasli Habinenu. Abaya curses the one that says Habinenu. That's not he says that's not the way you're supposed to do this. It's too quick. I don't know. He's skipping all the brachas. Amr Rav Nachman, Amr Shmuel, Kol Hashem Kulam Mispala on the Havinenu. Rav Nachman says in the name of Shmuel that a person can say Havinenu the whole year. Chutz, we might see Shabbos, might see Yom Tov, they should tzarich lem Avdala b'chein nadas. You can't say it on might see Shabbos or might see Yom Tov because there's a little addition that you have to add in, and we don't have it in the text. Add it in. You have to say Havdalah, Atachein Antanu, and Chein Nadas, and you can't do that on might see Shabbos. So Havinenu could only be said on days when you have nothing to add in. Maskefla, over here on the side it says Rava Bar Yishmael. Rava Bar Yishmael or Rava Bar Shmuel, whichever one is the Girsa. Name a bracha Rav Yisuf B'fnei Atzma. Here's a question. On Motzei Shabbos, okay, so say a separate bracha. Say Atachein Antanu as a separate bracha. So you condensed all the 11. Add in one more, big deal. Milay Tanan, Rabbi Kiva my bracha B'fnei Atzma. Rav Yisuf B'fnei Atzma. Rabbi Kiva even holds that every Motzei Shabbos you don't add it in Atachein. You have to say a separate bracha independently. Rabbi Lazar, Aimer Bayada, Rabbi Eliezer says that you say it in Maidim. The Gemara says that's an interesting suggestion. But at the Kol Hashem Kulam Yavdim Rabbi Kiva, do we pass him like that? You threw an opinion at us, saying that you can get away with this because you see there's an opinion like that. The whole year we don't pass him like that. The Hashtanami Navid Kol Hashem, the Hashtanami Navid, that we should do this.
אבל זה לא תפילה שונה, זה באמצע התפילה. זה מוסיף הוספה בתוך התפילה.
Okay.
זה לא עוד כמו תפילה למלשינים שהוסיפו 19. זה בתוך התפילה.
Right. But the Rabbi Kiva holds that you say it as a separate bracha. So we don't have a bracha, we don't have the words to fit into Havinenu. So he suggests, go like Rabbi Kiva and say another bracha on Motzei Shabbos and then say the rest Havinenu. So he says, but we don't pass him like Rabbi Kiva. This Kol Hashem Kulam my time lived in Rabbi Kiva the whole year. Why don't we pass him like Rabbi Kiva? Tamni straight tikkun, Tishrei light tikkun. The institution was 18, not 19. Al Chanami Shevet tikkun, Tamni light tikkun. Havinenu is 7 blessings, not 8. Okay. Maskav Lamar Zutra v'Nichlala Michlal Havinenu Hashem Elokeinu Amadu Mekadosh L'chal. What's the big deal? Add in a few words. Don't say a separate blessing. Add in those words. Gemara says kasha. The kasha. We in Shulchan Aruch we don't. It says that we don't say Havinenu on Motzei Shabbos because this suggestion is not accepted. Okay.
Do we have to be careful with our own tefillos then, in terms of adding something to our own? Yes, it's not 19 or more than 18.
That was the I'm going to ask again in a few minutes. Amar Rav Bibi Barabaya. Rav Bibi Barabaya says, Kol Hashem Kulam Mispalam Havinenu Chas Mimesi B'Shamim Tzarich Lem Shayla Brichas Hashanim. Interesting problem. During the winter, we say the same Talamatar, and we don't have a Saint Talamatar instituted in the Havinenu. So during the winter, you can't say Havinenu. You can only say Havinenu during the summer. Havinenu is the name for this short Shmoneh Esrei. We used to have a little prayer book that was made for the Israeli soldiers, and in there it had Havinenu in there. Maskef la Mar Zutra. Mar Zutra has a question. Add the words in. Does Asilat they know? It's going to confuse them. Yeah, start adding words in. Sometimes you say it like this. These things you say it, but it comes by rote. You say it. If you start changing it up, you lose where you're up to, and you can't do that. So why didn't we answer that when we suggested that you put Atachein Antanu into the Havinenu? That will also mess him up. And he'll lose his place. Over there, it's coming at the beginning of the prayer, so it won't confuse him. You see, before you start, you say it, because that's in Atachein Antanu, the first prayer, and then he'll get on to whatever else he says. Havinenu Hashem. Over here, if you add it into the center of the prayer, it's going to confuse him. Very interesting question. At the end of the prayer, we conclude, the end of Habineno, we finished off with Terem Nikrat Tasana Baruch Hashem Shemiyat Tefillah. We can add the same Talamatar in at the end at Shemiyat Tefillah. Dam Rab Tanchem Am Ravasi. Rab Tanchem says the name of Ravasi. Tav Lehis Kurs Ksham Tchias Meis Machzir Neisei. If someone doesn't say Masha Baruch Mer Geshem, they return. You have to go back and start again. That's not the halacha. Anyway, that's what the Gemara says. Shaila Bebirchas Hashanim. If he forgets to say the same Talamatar in Baruch Aleinu, Ein Machzir Neisei. He doesn't have to go back. Because you can add it in Shemiyat Tefillah. See, you can add the same Talamatar in Shemiyat Tefillah. So why are you making a big deal that you're going to put the same Talamatar in middle Avinenu, and then you won't be able to concentrate and you lose your place and all of that? Technically, you can add it in to Shemiyat Tefillah at the end, and you won't lose your place. You say it at the right before Baruch Hashem Shemiyat Tefillah. You also don't have to go back and say Havdalah if you miss Havdalah and Chein Adas, you don't go back because you're going to say it over a cup of wine. The Gemara responds to this challenge. It says Tar Shiny. You're not supposed to say the same Talamatar in Shemiyat Tefillah. Over there was just a mistake. A mistake, you can correct it. But l'chatchila, to institute the same Talamatar in Shemiyat Tefillah, that's not institution. So over here, Taisus mentions that a person can add in Shemiyat Tefillah other prayers. But it has to be only requests. Normally, our requests, we think them, but you technically you can add in other requests, as we'll see soon. Also, that you can add in other requests in the parts of davening in each bracha or in Shemiyat Tefillah. The Rambam held that if you miss Atachinan Tan, no, I don't remember. Maybe there's two versions of the Rambam. That's what it is. There's two versions of the Rambam. In one version of the Rambam, you're allowed to add. If you miss Atachinan Tan, you can say it in Shemiyat Tefillah. The Kesef Mishnah asks on it, which they say asks on it, but he ends up saying that that's not the correct text of the Rambam. I found an earlier text, and that's not whatever the case is. Irish. So, what would happen over here? We're asking only on the same Talamatar. You should be able to add the same Talamatar into Shemiyat Tefillah. Why didn't we ask you should add Havdalah into Shemiyat Tefillah? According to the Rambam, you can add that in. Or you could do even better. Why didn't we ask that if you miss Havdalah, you don't have to say anything? So say Avineno. But the Gemara's answer would respond to that as well. Ta shiny. Over there, that's only if you missed it by mistake. We're not going to allow you to say it in a way that's set up like that. Okay. Gufa was taught. Gufa is when we return to explaining a text from Amirayim, a statement of Amirayim, not Tanoim. Amar Mar was Tanoim. Gufa is Amar Tanchem Amar Basi. Tanchem says name of Ras Tabli is where's Shem Tchias Meis Machzir Neisei. Someone forgets to say Mashbrach Mer Geshem, he has to go back. Shaila Bebirchas Hashanim, if he forgets to ask for rain, the same Talamatar, Ein Machzir Neisei. He doesn't go back. Why? Because he can say it in Shemiyat Tefillah. Havdalah b'chein nadas ein Machzir Neisei. If he forgets Atachein Antanu, he doesn't go back. Because he can say it over a cup of wine. Meisvei, there's a question. They ask a question. If he forgets, he has to go back. Okay, that's what we said before. That's fine. If he forgets the same Talamatar, this is a problem. If he forgets the same Talamatar, he has to go back to recite it again. We said before, Ein Machzir Nisa, you can add it into Shemiyat Tefillah. Abdullah b'chein nadasi and Machzir Nisa, next Yachal Amar Lakais. That's correct, like we said before. That fits perfectly. Okay. The Gemara answers the problem, the contradiction between the same Talamata. The Gemara says, like Kash. First suggestion for the answer, it depends if it's an individual or a community. If it's my time alive, why don't you have to go back if someone in the community forgets Saint Talamata? From the Sham Shliach Tzibur, he'll hear the repetition. From the Shliach Tzibur, he'll be fine. So then why did you say that the explanation why you don't go back is because you can add it into Shemei Tefillah? You should have said, because he'll listen carefully to the repetition. That answer wasn't correct. The correct answer is that we're talking about an individual for both cases. And there's no question. It depends. If he remembered his mistake before Shemei Tefillah, then he says it in Shemei Tefillah. But if he remembers after Shemei Tefillah, then he has to go back and say it again. He could go back to Baruch Aleinu. He doesn't have to start over yet. That's only if he finishes Shemona Esrei. Amar Rab Tanchum, Amar Rab Asi, Amar Rab Yishua ben Levi. Rab Tanchum says the name of Rab Asi, name of Yishua ben Levi. Tavli Hiskashel Reish Chodesh. Yeah, because Rab Yishua ben Levi is already in Amira. It's all from Israel though, except Rav. It's interesting. I think Rav Asi could be Rabbi Asi because I think he went to Israel. Interesting. Usually, if it ends with a yud, Rabbi is from Israel. Rav is from Babel. That's so here it's Rabbi Tanchum in the name of Rav Asi, in the name of Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. They're like mixing Babel and going back and forth. I don't think Rav Tanchum is on the chart, but Yeshua ben Levi should be up here. Or no, he's on the bottom of the other one. Can I pull this out? Okay, it says if someone forgets Rosh Chodesh, Yalav Yavai, in Ritzei, Avodah is Ritzei. That's another name for Ritzei. Mashivas Avodah, return the service. Chayzel Avodah. So he goes back. He says it over again. Nizkar Bahida, if he remembers about it during Maidim, before Atayv Shimcha L'chanalai, Chayzel Avodah goes back to Ritzei. Sim Shalom, if he remembers that he didn't say Yalav Yavai and he's holding in Sim Shalom, Chayzel Avodah, he goes back to Ritzei. Didn't see him, but if he concluded, Chayzel L'reish. He goes back to, he has to recite the Shemona Esrei again. Amar of Papa Breder Avacha Bar Ada, Hada Amar to see him Chayzel L'reish. This is what he said, he finished, you have to go back. Lo Yaman al Shakaraglav, that's only if he moved his feet. That means he's already taking his steps away from the Shemona Esrei. But if he didn't move his feet, Chayzel Avodah can still go back. Amalei min halacha. He says who? He says who's talking to him? I don't know. Yeah, but who was asking him this? Who's asking him? How do you know? Is it Reb Tanchum? Maybe Reb Tanchum is talking to him. You know, Reb Tanchum is the one that's asking him. Amalei, so Rav Papa, Breder Avacha Barada says, "Me Abba Mari Shmieli." I heard it from my father, Rav Acha Barada. Abba Mari me Rav, and he heard it from Rav that if you didn't take the steps back, you can still repeat. You can still go back to Ritzei. You don't have to repeat the whole Shemona Esrei. Amar Rav Nachman b'Yitzchak Had Amar Nakaraglav Chayzel L'reish. This is what we said that if he moves his feet, he has to say Shemona Esrei again because he forgot Yalav Yavad Le'Yamar L'Shein Ragalem Tachnina Tfilasei. That's only if he doesn't say supplications, which is a Lekai Nitzar. We say a Lekai Nitzar. Aval Ragalem Tachnina Tfilasei Chayzel Avodah. If you normally say supplications, then you can return. There are those that say Rav Nachman Yitzchak Had Amar Kilayaka Raglav Chayzel Avodah Le'Yaman Al Shragalem Tachnina Tfilasei. This that we said that if a person didn't move his feet, he's able to go back. That's only if he's still going to say Elakai Nitzar. But if even though he didn't move his feet, but if his Shemona Esrei is over because he doesn't say Alekain Nitzar, so he's done. He's finished the Shemona Esrei, he said his last word, and he has to say Shemona Esrei entirely again. It's only if you're still in the middle that you're able to go back.
Is this sugya still about Rosh Kodesh?
Yeah. Going back to the
Because we don't say Tachnunim altogether.
No, over here means Tachnunim means Alekain Nitzar, supplications. If you add supplications at the end of the final bracha, the 18th bracha would be Baruch Atah Hashem. How does it finish up? It's in Shalom. Baruch Hashem Yisrael B'Shalom. That's the conclusion of the Shemona Esrei.
18 and 19.
And then we say Yul Ratzin, the 19th bracha rather. Then we say Yul Ratzin Imrifi, like we learned in the beginning of brachas. We say that after, just like David HaMelech said, Yul Ratzin after 19 Psalms. So we say it, and then we add supplications at the end. So we're really not finished. So because we're not finished, we can go back to Ritzek.
So Yutin is an integral part of the Shemona Esrei.
It helps that if someone had forgotten to say Yalav Yava, he's still considered involved in the Shemona Esrei, that he can go back. Rabbi Eliezer Eimer, someone makes his prayer set, so then it's not supplications. My keva, what does it mean set? I'm Rabbi Yaakov Baridi, I'm Rabbi Yishia. Rabbi Yaakov Baridi says name of Rabbi Yishia, Koshev Tfilasi Daimelav Kamase. If he makes his prayer like a weight, like a load, he says, I have to go daven. I got to get this over with. Let me first daven and get this over with, and then I can get on with the day. So that is not supplication, huh? Rabbanan Amri, the Rabbanan say, Kol she'eina omer b'lashon tachnunim. He doesn't say it in a way of supplication. Maybe he doesn't use the words, or maybe the tone. How do they translate that?
It's not Tachnunim, is there anything wrong with it?
So it's interesting that there's a part of davening. See, in all mitzvahs, if a person says, I have to do this is a mitzvah, I have to do, so that's considered lishma. But when it comes to davening, saying that I have to do it is not what you're supposed to do. It's not saying I have to do it.
But if you did it that way, you don't repeat it. You can do it.
Right. So you missed out on the Tachnunim part, I guess. That's what Chaim was saying. Taisus is explaining what each opinion holds about the other one. Okay, Rabbanan Amri Kol Mi She'eino B'Lashon Tachnunim. If he doesn't say it in the right, does it mean the right tone or with the right words? Anyone does not recite this prayer in a supplicatory manner, pleading tones, his prayer is not accepted because it's not supplication. Okay. Rabba and Rabbi Yosef Darmi Tavai, Rabba and Rabbi Yosef both say, Kol she'eino yochel l'chadash b'davar. He's not able to add in anything, his own prayers into it. That means he's not able to concentrate enough that he's thinking about the things that he needs. He's not able to add anything in. You should be able to add something to have a personal prayer. Amar Abzeira, no yachilna l'chedushi ba'milsa mustafina dilma matridna. Abzeira says, I can add in, but I'm afraid to because I'll lose my place because they would pray by heart. They didn't pray from a prayer book. So he didn't want to add in anything because the fluency of it, he would lose it. Abaya Barav and Rav Chanina Barav and Dami Tavaya Kol She'eino Mispalim Dimdu Mechama. If he doesn't pray, we're explaining the word keva. He doesn't pray with the redness of the sun, which means when it's exactly rising and when it's exactly setting. Rav Chia Barabba says in Rav Yechanan, he's the famous student of Rav Yechanan, mitzvah l'spalim dimdu mechama. It's a mitzvah to daven with the redness of the sun. Where do you see this in the pasuk? Yeruchem shemesh, they'll fear you with the sun, and in front of the moon, for generations. They cursed in the West. They cursed someone that prays so late, mincha so late, and with the sun is setting. My timer, pushing it up, pushing it up, pushing it up. Could be you'll miss it. I'll do it later. And then you miss the time. But there's some chassidim that they specifically wait for till it's like shkia, after shkia, and that's specifically when they daven. My wife's grandfather was a chassid. He would above her. He would look outside. See, it's too early. That's what I heard. It had to be like setting, right. Rabbi Shua Aimer, Hamahalach b'makam sakara mispal tefillah k'tzara b'chol prashas ha'ibur. Rabbi Shua says that someone's going in a dangerous place, so he would say a small prayer. And what was that small prayer? I'm sorry? Tefillah k'tzara. What was in that prayer? In that prayer, he says that b'chol prashas ha'ibur, and all prashas ha'ibur. We didn't explain what it means. And try to explain it in this Gemara. My precious Eber. What is precious Eber? Amar Rav Chisda, Amar Marukva. Rav Chisda says the name of Marukva. Afilu b'shashat mismalayim evra ki isha ubra yu kol tzachem lepenecha. Precious Eber means with all explanations of the word Eber. Like a play on the word. Mm-hmm. So, Pirshas Eber. Like, what is it? Anytime that you're angry, like a woman that's pregnant. I don't know if that's supposed to go together.
The woman that's pregnant is angry, or Hashem is angry?
I don't know if it means. I don't know what this means. Does it mean that pregnant women get angry? Or does it mean that very angry, like a pregnant woman full of anger? Is that what it means?
Rabbi, when she צריכה להביא קורבן.
Oh.
נכון או לא? Why maybe she cursed or she says something she shouldn't have been.
Maybe that's the pshat. Maybe she's angry like when she's giving birth.
We see this.
But then it would be. But then it says. The article does not clarify this.
It's the same, man. What he's saying is that the towards them and the pregnant woman, maybe they need before you some say the different.
Okay, so I guess we can interpret it how we like. So Hashem should answer them the whole prashas Eber with all explanations of Eber.
It's like when a woman is about to give birth, she's pretty mad.
Give me an epidural now.
So I think it's she'isha. It says she'isha, like a woman who's pregnant, she's ready to flip her lid. I think the shot is that even when you're so angry at them, at the Jewish people, as a pregnant woman is full, it means extra anger. You even have like added additional anger, like a pregnant woman that is full of anger is one, but then like even with additional anger, you should still respond to their tefillah. Some say answer them even if they're violating the Torah. Prashas Eber means they're doing Averis.
We just said before that the rabbi who is forgot or whatever, he's like thrown out. Now we're saying
that. I assume.
I think that Pashas Eber means that even though doesn't Hashem is eager and anxious for them to do children. To give birth to something that's great.
that's what heavy.
So he sees them doing Averis, he gets upset, but he knows that really they're going to be children. He's excited for their children.
Someone that's going back into the Chayav list in a dangerous area, there's wild animals, or there's robbers there. Mispal tefillah k'tzara, you should say a short prayer. Basically, tefillah k'tzara. What's the short prayer that he says? Rabbi Lezer, Masei Ritzimcha b'Shamayim Mimal. Do your will in the heaven above, and give favor to those that fear you, mitachas, that are down below. What's good in your eyes, do. Baruch Hashem Shemiyat Tefillah. Blessed you Hashem, who hears prayer.
Is this supposed to be in addition to or instead of Shema?
Oh, very good. That the Gemara is going to explain that he's actually going to have to, when he gets back, he's going to have to recite Shema Esrei. It doesn't cover it. Here we sort of. This is a tefillah sederach for a place of danger. Now, it says, what's good in your eyes, you should do. A lot of times when we pray, we only have what we think is the best. But really, what's best for us, only Hashem knows. I told my family, I said, probably if we win the lottery, it's probably not going to be good for us. That's why Hashem doesn't have us win. Maybe if I buy a ticket on Tisha B'Av, with that sort of mazel, then I would win the lottery. So my daughter says, buy it. Okay, Rabbi Shuaim. So that's Atay Ben Achaseh. What's good in Hashem's eyes.
That's for your daughter.
Okay.
It's back. Okay. Rabbi Shua says, Shema Shabbos Amchi Yisrael. Listen to this cry of the Jewish people. V'asei meher bakashasim, and do quickly, swiftly their requests. Baruch Hashem Shemei Tefillah. Blessed are you that answers prayer. Rabbi Elazar bar Tzadok Amar Shema Tzakas Amchi Yisrael V'asei meher bakashasim. Very similar to the last one. Baruch Hashem Shemei Tefillah. Others say, the needs of your Jewish people are many, but their mind is small. Some say that that's the connection. Why did they have so many needs? Because they're small-minded. It should be your will in front of you, Hashem. You should give each one his sustenance, to everybody what it's lacking. Baruch Hashem Shemei Tefillah. Amar Rav Huna. Rav Huna says halacha k'acherim. The halacha is like acherim, like this last prayer. With children, we say this when we pray with children. Amalei Eliyahu Rav Yehuda Achved Rav Salah Chasida Eliyahu. That's Eliyahu Navi. Says to Rav Yehuda, the brother of Rav Salah Chasida. Leisirtach v'leisechti. Don't get angry and don't sin. This is good advice here. Leitirvei v'leitechti. Don't drink. We say this on Sunday, not on Friday. And don't sin. You didn't know this was coming today, did you? And when you go on the road, you should take excuse yourself from your Creator and go. What does it mean? Take counsel or excuse yourself from your Creator and go. Amar Rav Yaakov, Amar Rav Chizda zu tefillah sederach. This means if you say tefillah sederach. Amar Rav Yaakov, Amar Rav Chizda kol yetzel derech tzarech l'spal tefillah sederach. Rav Yaakov says, name of Rav Chizda, that anyone that goes on the road should say tefillah sederach. My tefillah sederach. What is it? Yiratzeh milfanecha. If you don't have a siddur, but you happen to have a gemara, so you'll open it up. It says it should be your will before you, Hashem. Shetalicheni l'shalom. Notice the difference. Shetalicheni, singular. To lead me in peace, and have my steps go in peace. Support me in peace, and save me from the hands of enemies and wild things on the road. Send blessing in the work of my hands, and give to me kindness and favor in your eyes, and everyone that sees me. Baruch Hashem Shemei Tefillah. Blessed are you, Hashem, who hears prayer. Amar Abaye. Abaye says, no. You always have to say a prayer in plural. Don't say it just for yourself. How should you say it? Same prayer, but just with a plural ending. Lead us in peace. When do you pray it? When you go on the road, once you start. Ad kama, until when can you say it? There's two interpretations with ad kama. You can only say it until you go one parsa. After that, you're already past the time for saying it. Others say, the pshat over here in the Gemara is ad parsa, means you can even say it if your trip is only one parsa. Like, how long should the trip be that you should say tefillah sederach? How do you say it? Rav Chizda says you say it standing. Rav Sheshes says you can say it even while you're moving. Rav Chizda and Rav Sheshes are going. We're going to see what happens. Come Rav Chizda v'kamatzi. Rav Chizda gets up to say it. Amalei Rav Sheshes l'shami. My cover Rav Chizda. What's he doing? Amalei koyev matzi. He's standing and he's saying it. Amalei ukmenami l'didi. help me stand up, Batsi, and I'll also say it standing. Tell you, I'll take it out. From being good, don't be called bad. That means if you're able to stand, then you should. Then you stand. If other people are doing good things, you should go along with them. I guess we'll leave it over here.
Wait, I have something. We're 10 people here. We're fasting, and we asking that the rabbi winning the lottery is a good thing.
Amen.
We're gonna hear good news.
Right.